Hello and welcome. I'm Deborah, one of the grief counselors with the Delta Hospice Society. Kristen, our music therapist, and I have created this video presentation on anticipating holidays and other special occasions while grieving. This video will provide you with some tips and tools for navigating these special celebrations after the loss of a loved one. In particular, it will help you debunk myths about these events, assist you to set up realistic expectations about celebrating these occasions, show you how to use music to help contain and support your emotions, encourage you to give yourself permission to change up traditions and do things differently, and provide practical suggestions to look after yourself. So sit back, perhaps with a cup of tea or coffee, as Kristen and I support you during this challenging time in your life. If you'd like, stop the video now to get a candle and matches or a lighter, so you may light a candle in memory of your loved one. We invite you to take a few quiet moments to reflect upon your loved one as Kristen shares some music with us.
Thank you. As Deborah said, I'm Kristen, one of the music therapists with the Delta Hospice Society. At this time, I'd love to open with a song to offer some space to reflect and to honor our loved ones who are not able to be with us today. If you would like to at this time, feel free to light a candle. As you can see, I have one lit beside me. Well, the road is wide, waters run on either side, and my shadow went with failing light, stretching out into the night. For the sun is low, and I have still so far to go, and my lonely heart is beating so, tired of the wonder, but there's a sign ahead, though I think it's the same one again, and I'm thinking about my only friend, till I find my way home. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light, you're my guiding light. When I need to get home, you're my guiding light, you're my guiding light.
Thank you, Kristen. That was lovely. I'd like to talk with you about some common worries, fears, and other emotions when anticipating pending special occasions. If you'd like, close your eyes for a few moments and think about the pending holiday season or an upcoming birthday or anniversary. What feelings are you experiencing? Are you feeling depression? Perhaps some resentment? Are you experiencing anger? Are you wanting to withdraw from others? Are you experiencing anxiety? Or perhaps dread? Where are you feeling these emotions in your body? How are you feeling these emotions in your body? Is your head aching? Is your stomach upset? Are you experiencing tightness in your shoulders, your back, your chest, perhaps? Do you have more general aches and pains throughout your body? If you said yes to any of these indicators, that's pretty normal. Not comfortable, but normal. Let's spend a few minutes exploring some myths associated with special occasions and grieving. Myth number 1. Special occasion grief begins and ends on the day of the event. In reality, the grief may begin earlier and end later than that particular date. The leading up to and the ebbing from the particular event date can be very challenging for most people. Myth number 2. At gatherings, it's inappropriate to mention fond memories of the person who has died. These events, in reality, are times for reflection, where you can create a safe environment to share memories of your loved one. It's perfectly fine and appropriate to remember this person out loud, to use his or her name with others. Myth number 3. Traditions are something you do year after year and are not meant to be changed. Just because it was done this way for a period of time, perhaps many years in time, doesn't mean that you can't change it up this year. Be open-minded. There are no set rules. If traditions bring unhappy memories, it's really okay to change them. Myth number 4. When the second special occasion occurs, I will be over my grief and I can return to old traditions. In reality, the second experience or event, or perhaps the third or fourth or fifth, may be just as sad as the first one. You may not want to return to old traditions, and that's okay too. In review, these 4 myths are: special occasion grief begins and ends on the day of the event. At gatherings, it's inappropriate to mention fond memories of the person who has died. Traditions are something you do year after year and are not meant to be changed. And when the second special occasion occurs, you will be over your grief and can return to the old traditions. Please note that these are myths and not realities. I'd like to talk briefly about expectations as they influence our ability to navigate special occasions. What have you told yourself about what you think you should or must do at the next holiday, anniversary, or birthday now that your loved one has passed? What have others told you, quietly or loudly, about how they want you to celebrate the next holiday, anniversary, or birthday? You likely know that expectations are set by ourselves and others. The big question is, are these expectations appropriate right now? Here are some other questions you might want to ask yourself to determine whether indeed they are right for you now, this year, at this time. 1. Are the expectations realistic? 2. Do I have the resources to meet these expectations? 3. Do I have the interest in meeting these expectations? 4. Do I have the energy to meet these expectations? If the answers to one or more of these questions are no, give yourself permission to change expectations so the answers can be yes. Let's start exploring some practical approaches to help you navigate your special occasions while grieving. I am going to now invite my colleague Kristen to share how music can help with navigating grief.
Thanks, Deborah. As a music therapist, I'd like to speak to the ways that music can be useful in helping you to navigate difficult situations like special anniversaries or holidays. As you approach occasions, you will probably notice that you have different needs at different times. Sometimes you might need something to help you express all of the feelings that are building up. Other times, you might need to distract yourself from them or to find a place of calmness so that you can get through what you need to get through. An easy and practical tool you can use to prepare for these times is by finding particular songs or types of music that you know you can go to when you need them. For example, preparing a song or a list of songs you listen to when you need a good cry. One may be with music that you find calming if you are feeling overwhelmed or anxious. Another that you find motivating or energizing when you need to fight that heavy fatigue that so often accompanies grief. Or perhaps one with uplifting songs that can help shift your emotions if you need a break from the intense sadness. By preparing these music lists in advance, they will be ready for you to turn to when needed. You may find that music you once enjoyed will not have the same effect anymore. This can be due to having previous memories or associations with particular songs that hit you differently now. Or it might be the result of simply dealing with the numbness of grief. Either way, this experience is quite normal, and you may have to look outside of your current scope of music in order to find songs to use. Particularly when looking for music that can help you relax or feel grounded, meditation music can be very soothing. I often recommend exploring instrumental music, as music with lyrics can often be too evocative. Keep in mind, there are many instrumental or classical pieces that can have abrupt changes in mood or dynamics which can be unsettling. So do make sure that you have listened to the whole piece once before using it to ground yourself. Since music and memory are linked, music that you enjoyed with your loved one who has died may be very difficult to listen to right now. But it may also be very healing. You, of course, get to choose what is right for you at any given moment. Some people may choose to listen to music that evokes memories while alone. Some may want to be with a loved one or a group of loved ones to listen and to feel like they're in a circle of support. Some, of course, choose to steer clear of sad music, and others feel deeply comforted and connected by hearing music that speaks to their sadness. Music can even be used within our celebrations themselves as a container for remembering or reflection, if that feels helpful, that is. You may choose to play or sing a favorite song of your loved ones as a way to bring them into the celebration. Some may choose to find space within the celebration to have music accompany a remembering ritual, such as a candle lighting, similar to the one we had at the beginning of this video. In moments when talking feels impossible, but company and connection feels important, sharing music listening can be a beautiful nonverbal way to be with one another. If you need something more active than passive listening, music making itself can be extremely cathartic. Singing or playing instruments or engaging in songwriting can all be useful ways to release and externalize trapped feelings.
Thank you, Kristen. That was really helpful. Now, I'd like to share some very practical things you can do when trying to cope and navigate demanding holiday and special occasion events. Firstly, remember to breathe in and out. Slow, deep breaths into your belly can invoke the relaxation response and combat any anxiety or stress you might be feeling. Meditate. For some who have a meditation practice, we really encourage you to continue using it. For others, a walk in the woods and breathing in is another form of meditation. Engage in light exercise, perhaps a walk in the park or a walk around the block. Nourish yourself well. Be mindful about what you're eating and drinking, as they will affect your ability to manage stress. Honor your feelings. Accept your feelings and don't judge them. They're your feelings and they're important. Cry if you need to. That physical release, that emotional release might be very helpful for you right now. Set realistic expectations. Accept from others realistic expectations. Don't should yourself. meaning I should be doing this and should not be doing that. Anticipate challenges so you can plan for and not be blindsided by them. Focus on what you really can control. Many people focus on areas over which they have little or no control and become very frustrated and exhausted by that. Be aware that the anticipation of the event can be more difficult than the reality of it. Be mindful of your own self talk. Are you your best friend or your worst enemy by what you say to yourself? Limit alcohol intake. This can be very challenging for some, particularly around celebratory times. Alcohol, as many of you know, is a depressant, and if you're already feeling low, alcohol is not going to make you feel better. Get as much rest as you can. Even a little power nap in the afternoon might be helpful, but don't nap too late in the day as that might disturb your nighttime sleep. Consider buying food rather than making it. Streamline gift giving, perhaps by ordering online, using gift cards. Give yourself permission to leave events early. For example, if you know that you're going to a social event and you're not quite certain whether you want to stay for the whole event, consider talking with the host in advance to indicate that you might be leaving earlier. That way, you're giving yourself permission to do that, and there's no need to worry that the host doesn't know what's going on by your early departure. This year, you might want to create new traditions. Perhaps there was something in the past that you wanted to do but couldn't fit it in due to the long standing historical traditions you've had in your family. Find a way to honor your memories, commemorate your loved ones, whether it's by a special event, some special food, an acknowledgement of that person in some fashion. Do something kind for others, whether it's a friend, neighbor, family member, whether it's sharing of your time, sharing of your financial resources, something that perhaps will make other people feel good. Talk with your family and friends about what you need or would like to do or not do during this special occasion. They may not know what's important or not important to you this year. Ask for help. Delegate when you can. Often people appreciate being asked to do something on your behalf. It makes them feel better and more engaged with you. Similarly, if someone is offering you something, offer of help, accept it. It'll probably make the other person feel pretty good too. Spend time with supportive people, people who understand your grief, who are empathic towards it, who are kind with you. So these are a variety of things that you can try out at different times. One approach doesn't work for everybody. However, a combination of different approaches, practical approaches, might be very helpful for you while you celebrate and prepare for these special occasions. Let's talk about how you might want to integrate this information that we have shared with you on this video. It is known that writing down goals on paper helps us achieve them. We can tape what we have written to the fridge, bathroom mirrors, computer screens, or anywhere in the house. So, to support your success in navigating special occasions while grieving, we recommend the following. Take out a piece of paper or boot up your computer or other device and write the following. To help me navigate holidays and special occasions, 1. I will stop. 2. I will start. 3. I will continue. And then simply fill in what you will stop, start, and continue. And this will be very particular to you and nobody else. Consider sharing what you wrote with a family member or a friend. Better yet, consider completing it with them and perhaps asking them to complete these sentence stems themselves. As we near the close of our presentation, we'd like to end it with a short piece of prose by Rachel Raman from her book called My Grandfather's Blessing. And this particular piece of prose is called Pearls of Wisdom. So sit back and enjoy. An oyster is soft, tender, and vulnerable. Without the sanctuary of its shell, it could not survive. But oysters must open their shells in order to breathe water. Sometimes, while an oyster is breathing, a grain of sand will enter its shell and become a part of its life from then on. Such grains of sand cause pain, but an oyster does not alter its soft nature because of this. It does not become hard and leathery in order not to feel. It continues to entrust itself to the ocean, to open and breathe in order to live. But it does respond. Slowly and patiently, the oyster wraps the grain of sand in thin, translucent layers until, over time, it has created something of great value in the place of where it was most vulnerable to its pain. A pearl might be thought of as an oyster's response to its suffering. Not every oyster can do this. Oysters that do are far more valuable to people than oysters that do not. Sand is a way of life for an oyster. If you are soft and tender and must live on the sandy floor of the ocean, making pearls becomes a necessity if you are to live well. Disappointment and loss are a part of every life. Many times we can put such things behind us and get on with the rest of our lives. But not everything is amenable to this approach. Some things are too big or too deep to do this, and we will have to leave important parts of ourselves behind if we treat them in this way. These are not the places where wisdom begins to grow in us. It begins with the suffering that we do not avoid or rationalize or put behind us. It starts with the realization that our loss, whatever it is, has become a part of us and has altered our lives so profoundly that we cannot go back to the way it was before. Something in us can transform such suffering into wisdom. The process of turning pain into wisdom often looks like a sorting process. First, we experience everything. Then, one by one, we let things go. The anger, the blame, the sense of injustice, and finally, even the pain itself, until all we have left is a deeper sense of the value of life and a greater capacity to live it. We hope that this video has given you some information, guidance, and hope on how to successfully navigate special occasions and holidays while you are grieving. Consider watching it again when needed and sharing it with others who might benefit from it as well. Please consider going to our website or our Facebook page to download some documents related to this presentation. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please email them to info@deltahospice.org.
We hope you found this video to be useful. In closing, I'd like to share a song, and I hope that it can bring a bit of light to these trying times ahead. Thank you so much for joining us. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here